welcome to Tea Time with Sam. I have my guest Carolyn today, and it is the first episode of this.
Whatever
we're doing it, this is what's happening. So we've got tea, we've got a book here on our little fireplace, and we're going to talk about Long Live Evil by Sarah Rees Brennan, and we're going to talk about the adjoining Micro Squad workout that Carolyn just so happened to participate in.
It was real fun, guys.
It was, and the dagger you're holding is actually the dagger from the
infamous dagger.
Yes, the infamous dagger. We'll tell you guys all about it. Don't worry, we're going to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but we're going to dive right in. So, Long Live Evil, we received as an e-arc.
Yes, we heard some news that Fairy Loot might be doing an edition, yes. And we dug into NetGalley and found it.
And we shockingly got approved because our approval rate is like 2%.
Right, yeah. It's like the number of times I'm like, I really want that. And then they're like, no. Yeah. This one we both were like, oh.
We were so excited for. And then, so if you don't know, we can do a little, we'll post it in the description, but Long Live Evil is an isekai, which is very common in manga, where you leave this world and go into another world. So think of Kid in King Arthur's court. So that's the premise of the book, and that's what I don't think we knew. I think, we did know that.
Yeah, we did know that going into it. So we knew that she got dropped into her favorite book series.
Yes. So our main character, Ray, gets dropped into the character of the main villain, who is deliciously evil, has a pet snake or viper, and
fabulous wardrobe.
Yes, fabulous wardrobe. She goes from no boobs to big boobs.
She's like the biggest boobs.
Yeah, I cannot imagine going to that.
Yeah, no, I think that was like one of the favorite things she wrote about, was describing how she's and they keep throwing me off my balance because they're so comically big.
Yes,
it's just so good.
And there's so much humor that goes throughout the entire book. Everything you've ever thought about when you read a book, she just encapsulates so well in the series.
Yes, because it's the questions that if you were dropped into a fantasy series that you would ask. And I also love too that she loves the series, but she never remembers what happened in the first book
or the character's name. Yes. She gets them mixed up, which for anyone who loves Game of Thrones,
yes.
It's to name the big one. It's the hardest one to remember.
Yes, and that is I think one of my favorite things about it is because she's I can't remember what happens in the next chapter. I only remember the end. And I was I relate to this so much because I feel that's exactly what happened to me if I got dropped into a fantasy book.
Yes.
Is I'd be okay, I remember the big points. And everything else is okay, we're by the seat of our pants here. Am I gonna mess this up?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's also that time when you play trivia.
Yes.
And you're I know the answer. Shit, I can't remember.
Just left.
It just feels like one giant trivia game for her.
Yes.
And so she goes through this entire world to basically save her life because she's dying from cancer. And what you actually come to find out is, this is not a spoiler because it's about the author. The author actually went through her own cancer journey, and this was her therapy. And I actually got to see her during the book tour, and she's so lovely and chaotic.
She just seems like the nicest human being.
It was her and Lee Bardugo.
Oh my gosh.
And Lee's trying to stay on a path. And Sarah's well, and then this unfortunate circumstance happens. Every story she told started with, well, this unfortunate thing happened and I'm no longer allowed to do this. And I was oh no.
I love that energy so much.
Yeah. So there was an incident with a bat.
In a baseball bat or
no, a flying bat
okay.
at a cabin like this.
Okay.
With her and Holly Black and Lee Bardugo. The three of them were sharing a cabin, and I think she was writing this book.
Okay.
And it was just this whole chaotic mess, and it was a lovely, lovely story. I'm sure there's a podcast she's done about it, but
it's on TikTok somewhere.
It's on somewhere. Yeah. I was just so absorbed in her that I didn't even record it on my own phone. But how she this was a therapeutic book for her, and I know some of our friends have read it, and they were oh, I didn't realize that the author, it's because it's a heavy thing for Ray, our main character, to deal with trying to save her own life.
Well, and that's like it drops you right into that. Like that's like the
Yes.
first like
It's a heavy
2
theme.
1 to 2 chapters of the book, and I don't think I even realized that when I started reading it. And then I was like, oh, I should have just read the description, Carolyn. You would have like known this. My fatal flaw with reading all of
Well,
my
you like
books.
skim it.
Yeah, I skim it. I'm like, oh, okay, this sounds good, and then I completely forget it before I start the book. But I didn't realize at the time that the author also had cancer. And then when we got to the acknowledgments, I was like, well, like just the way she wrote about it, I felt was like really great.
Yes, she did such a good job. Like it didn't feel like you were just reading Sarah's story. You really were dropped into another story, escaping reality. You befriend people. You try to fix the story when it goes off the rails, and it still goes off the rails. And and then you hear Ray try to like remember the story and again try to fix it. It fails. It try to fix it again, and then no, I won't say it because that'll be a spoiler. Never mind.
Yeah,
never mind. I'm not gonna say anything.
I was like, there's something I could like say here, but I was like, well, I guess that could fall in the spoiler category. So go read the book, and then we all can chat. But
so it was a lot of fun. And if you don't know, so I own the company, the Micro Squad, where we do a bunch of themed workouts. I do the Valkyrie Squad training program, which is inspired by A Court of Silver Flames. But I started doing themed workouts, oh my God, before 2020. But
yes,
that's where I started doing themed workouts. And I was doing some random book ones. And Carolyn here was like, you should make a Long Live Evil workout with all the most evil moves.
I'm sorry.
And it's and then she volunteered herself for tribute for this sacrifice.
This is always how it goes, just with any sort of thing. It's like, oh, this would make a great workout. I'll come up and help. And then I'm like, yep. Was that the smartest decision, Carolyn?
Like, no, it was not the smartest decision.
We always make fun of how you say it's fun. I mean, but it is a lot of fun.
It was. I had a blast.
I had a lot of pain sometimes.
Was that the morning I woke up and cackled at you?
Yes.
Okay.
So
you can tell the story.
So just backtrack before we get to the workout. So I'd come up to film 2 workouts, and the first day was Has Been Hotel, which if any of you've taken that workout, you also know it's rather hellish. And so I woke up the next morning, and I think I laughed and then stood up, and my core was very, very sore. And I just made an offhanded comment. I was like, oh, my core is really sore today. And this one just cackles. And I was like, I was not expecting sympathy, but that was also not the response that I was expecting from her. And it just kept going into the Long Live Evil workout.
Yeah, so it was just like, I mean, you were going to do a Has Been Hotel workout, and then you volunteered yourself for this.
Yes.
And it was like, you're literally going to be doing the 2 most evil workouts I can try to come up with back to back. She filmed them on 2 separate days, but it was a fight to get through. And yes, it was. And so like even before, because she had the idea, oh, you should make a evil workout. I had posted my review of Long Live Evil, tagged Sarah, and Sarah was talking to me, and I was like, okay, my friend will like hate me if I don't ask. Can I make this into a workout? Yes. And I told her like the whole thing, and she's like, I love this. Do it. I cannot wait for this. So I got Sarah's evil blessing, which probably made it worse.
Right. I love how she was just so on board with it.
She was like, do whatever. This is fantastic. Let's go. So we did that. And so I write the whole workout. I ended up seeing a fellow instructor, I don't know, like a month before. And she was reminding me of a move I used to teach in my Legree classes, which is on a Pilates type machine. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't done that move in forever. We're totally going to do it. It's very evil. It's very fun. It's evil. It's fun. They're the same thing.
Look it up in the dictionary.
Yeah, they mean the same thing. So I wrote it in. I was super excited. I pulled quotes from the book. I put together the whole playlist. And then we get in there, and there's a move called there's a move in Pilates called Snake. In the book, there's a character called the Viper.
Yeah,
the Viper, because I kept messing it up in the workout.
Yeah,
I said the wrong thing. But there's a character called the Viper. So like, well, we're gonna do the move Snake, which is an intense core oblique move, because it's evil. And I was like, we're gonna do it and honor this character. Well, and further backstory, when I used to teach Legree classes, when we did crunches, especially kneeling crunches, because there's a well in the Pilates machine, I'd say especially at Halloween, I would say, imagine because we would say like round your back like an angry cat at Halloween. Well, I took it a step further because I had to. And I said, well, imagine Ghostface is in the well with his knife and you have to crunch up out of the way so you don't get stabbed by the knife. Well, it's been a very, very long time since I got to use that cue. And my dagger happened to be on the shelf as shelf decoration. So as Carolyn was doing this Viper move, I pulled the dagger out, and you can see it in the video. I'm going to insert a clip, but you can see me holding the dagger underneath her oblique, and she had to keep her oblique engaged the whole time and not drop too low. And it was, I don't know if anyone else really caught it, because I'm sure everyone else was just trying to get through the move. But
yeah, sometimes when you're working out, you're not necessarily seeing what is happening on the screen.
Yes.
I would say it's a great incentive to engage your core. And
yeah, I got to use it in a live prop because I couldn't use it in my old studio. I'd probably get fired.
Maybe,
but it's fine. It's fine.
It's an amazing trust exercise.
It is. She trusts me with her entire life.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was a lot of fun. I think it was definitely one of the highlights I have.
I say it's definitely like those workouts are insane and evil and hard, but that was a really fun one to film.
Yes.
I just remember when the ball came back. Can't really talk about why the ball came back because it's a spoiler, but like
I forgot that I had written that the ball was so we have a Pilates ball, and I forgot that the Pilates ball was coming back, so I said get rid of the Pilates ball, and then there was a plot twist, it came back.
He threw it across the room, but it worked out so perfectly because of something that happens in the book, and it was like so unintentional but just so great.
I forget about the ball every time.
I know. I say it's one of those ones, and especially probably the poor people at home who've done the workout. They're like, "Oh, we get to chuck the ball across the room.
Yeah, we're done. Now you have to go find the ball again."
Chucked it under your desk, and then are like, "I gotta go get this now."
Yes, I did hear that a lot of people. So not a lot of people like bears. I know this, but I use the ball in between your knees, and one of my Pilates instructor friends she put it on her stories, and I was like, I'm stealing this. She's like, it's super evil. And I was like, well, I know where it's going. I know which workout it's coming into. And so you put the ball in between your knees, and your knees are hovering off the ground. So you're in this like floating tabletop, and you open your knees, drop the ball, and it bounces. So you have to catch it again with your knees. So it takes a lot of coordination. You did so well.
I did really well. For those of you who don't know, I'm probably one of the most uncoordinated people in the whole entire universe.
Everyone says
that. I feel like it actually does apply to me, though. I know a lot
we have video proof a lot of the time.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of video proof. But even I was impressed with myself that day.
You did very well
doing that. I would say, because I always try really, really hard to get it all right when we're filming.
No, you did very, very well. And I've heard a couple people say that move wasn't as evil as it was brought out to be, which I was pleasantly surprised with.
I still think it's evil, but bears are just evil in general.
I just like bears.
The bears are my nemesis.
Well, you just have to bear with me. That joke's going to get so old.
You haven't said it in a while, so.
I mean, as long as you grim and bear it, it's fine. As producer Bex is off screen, head in hand, like, good God, Sam. I know this is why you guys work out with me.
The puns.
It's the terrible puns.
They're not terrible.
But you find it punderful.
They are punderful.
You're punderful.
That was what exactly was playing in my head at that moment in time.
I can't get in trouble because it's a pun. I can't get in trouble for copyright.
Nope. We changed the lyrics.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so I don't know if Sarah's posted this at all, but it ends on a cliffhanger for anyone who wants to know. It ends on a cliffhanger. It's fantastic. There is a sequel that is coming. Mm-hmm. I believe she said it. Yes, it's a trilogy. Sorry.
Yes, you confirmed it was a trilogy.
Mentally go back into my messages to you. It is a trilogy, but there is a novella that is coming out before the second book. I think that's what she said, or there is a novella coming.
At some point, yeah.
Yes.
I can't remember when you said it was, but yes.
And for all of the Swifties out there, Sarah is a massive Swiftie fan. She's anxiously waiting for Reputation, just like all of us. And
fitting.
This, like, and almost the entire soundtrack is actually Reputation. Like, inspired. Both my copies, so this is the Fairy Loot edition, this is actually Bex's, so I can't show you, but my edition there are 2 quotes. I have one version has I did something bad, and then the other version that I have that I bought at the event, she did another Taylor Swift quote, and I can't remember it for life of me. And then
I love that, though.
Becca's book. So my sister came with us. Becca asked her to put "you pretentious bitch," and she did, because just sisterly love. She'll be on here eventually, but Becca is quite the pretentious little bitch.
Said in the most loving way possible.
In the best way. I mean, it's mainly a sister thing that we say it to each other, but
yes.
It's Alina and I say it to Becca. But Sarah's super cool, and like the way she like personalized the books, like.
I love that.
Sarah looked to me, she's like, is it okay if I put this in her book? I was like, no, she deserves to have that in her book.
She's allowed. I know.
It's just perfect for her.
I was so mad the timing didn't work for that one. I was like, I would have come out.
So you were like just out, and it like happened again.
I know.
Just came back.
Yeah, I think I'd like just gotten back.
I just got back from Dragon Con.
Yeah, you just traveled, but I was like, it didn't work out. I was very sad she didn't come to Colorado because I would love to meet her. But
yes,
we have a second book, so maybe it'll happen for that.
It'll happen again. Yeah. Why you should read this book. It is super fun. It is a refreshing fantasy read because you are diving into a fantasy world. Most of us are here because we love fantasy, romantasy, and this puts a whole new fun spin on it. It's like a fun palate cleanser. Most of us read like monster smut or just some like, I'm going to call it normie smut, but like contemporary smut to give us a just palate cleanser.
All of the fantasy and romantasy.
Yeah, like this is just the perfect palate cleanser. You'll laugh. Like I was highlighting like line after line because I was just laughing hysterically at it. And it's just such good fun to have, especially if you get off of a heavy read. This is the Pretty Fairy Loot edition. The sword says "Longing for Revenge." I won't tell you why. You have to read it, but this is the Pretty Fairy Loot edition, but it's available on Kindle. Mm-hmm. You can buy it literally anywhere. It's at Barnes & Noble. It's on Amazon. Just go read it. It's so good.
What was your rating for it?
I think I give it all 5 stars.
Yeah, this is my first 5-star read of the year.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, I think like it was one of my, so it is my top read of like 2024, and I recommend it to everyone.
Yes.
It does not have any spice, but it has light steam.
Yes.
I'm assuming we're gonna get into spice because this was the adult. Was this the adult book?
Yes. So it is adult. So yeah, adult themes, but yeah, I say no spice yet. We'll see if we get there.
It seems like there might be spice.
Yeah, I feel like we will get a little.
There has to be.
Yeah.
The way it is, but like the steam that was there that we're building to, it's gonna happen. So yes. Go read Long Live Evil. And then, before we leave you, today's tea, mine is Genmaicha Matcha. And then, what is yours, actually? I already forgot which.
It's the Bat Boys tea from Bees Teas. I'm sure you will link it in the description. It's like a chocolate rum flavored tea. It's caffeine free, which is great. So it's a great afternoon, evening tea. And as someone who drinks mainly coffee, it's my favorite tea to drink. So that's a really high endorsement, actually.
That's very high endorsement. Well, thank you for joining me.
Of course.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, tuning in. Remember, like and subscribe. We'll be back. I'll be back with more. And until next time, back to the tea.
This is like literally flying by the seat of my pants, like perfectly not Bex. This was just a wild idea that I was like, we're gonna go for it. I have a talk show now.